Hi, it's Abe Day. We're going to create a giraffe this week, and we're going to do it hopefully within less than an hour, just to get some of the anatomy done and color it up, just so that you can see how I would do a giraffe and how you could do one too. So we're going to go to our scene. We're going to open up ZBrush, and then we'll go from there. Okay, with ZBrush opening, I need to update this. I'm going to get this going here. I'm just going to start with the cylinder. Okay, get it up and roaming. I like to turn on these guides just so I know what's front and back. And you always got to switch to the Make Poly 3D. I've customized my menus a little bit, but you can find all of these in your ZBrush if you're kind of following along. And we're just going to get starting to sculpt this thing. I'll just start moving this thing around. Make sure my x-axis is on so that it's going to be mirrored on both sides. And like everything else, you just want to get the general shapes going first. And I'll just start using the snakehead brush to get started with and just start squishing things around. I'm also going to use Dynamesh so we can start creating the geometry as we go forward. This is going to look pretty sloppy at first, but you get kind of the idea as we kind of go around. So okay, so some really weird shapes here to begin with. Alright. Anyway, start squishing things around. I don't like this resolution. I'm actually going to go just lower so I can actually move things easier. It's really good to have good reference so that you can know what you're doing. ZBrush is really forgiving on everything you want to do, so we're just trying to get just kind of a working body here to start with. You might be hearing my Cavalier dogs in the background. Little King Charles Cavaliers. Alright, so we're just getting general shapes here. You know, this part here I'm going to be doing is going to be the neck. And honestly, starting even lower than this I think would be even better. There we go. And we'll just go so much faster. ZBrush has this nice function called the snake brush, and then if you turn on the sculptress code, you can easily it'll just kind of draw your pieces pretty easy out. Triangulates everything. If you were to look at the triangles, it's kind of messy. You can clean up that later. The most important part is just getting the proportions kind of there. And moving along. Also, if you have the sculpture part on it, when you hold down Shift for smooth, it actually smooths, makes things kind of disappear too. If you do it too much, it'll just kind of smooth away to nothing. And if you need your quads back, you just go ahead and turn that off and do a Dynamesh, which is you hold down Control and just swipe, and it Dynameshes that again. So move. The move brush does not work with the snake or the sculptress brush, and so if you want to just not create new geometry, you can do that. Now, here's something important to know about all animals that are four-legged for the most part, especially hoofed animals. Let's see if we can get this here. I'll explain that in a second. Just want to give a little fat foot to each of these things. And then I'm going to switch to this thing to get kind of a flat-legged thing for the hoofs. I'm moving pretty fast, but I'm going to be doing these videos every week just so that it's good practice for me, and hopefully you can pick up some tips and tricks that I use to just get things moving. I kind of treat ZBrush like a sketching tool. For me, it's a very great hybrid between 2D and 3D, and it's good to again have reference and I study the anatomy of any of these animals as you're trying to work with them. Try to get some good reference and just refer to it often. A lot of people ask me as artists if you know how to draw things right out of your head, and you can after you do it 1,000 times, and then you know how it works. But it kind of leads me to what I was talking about earlier. So in any, I'm going to switch over to this color here, material, so I can kind of draw on it too as I'm talking. When we're talking about anatomy of animals, the skeletons of the animals actually associate with ours. Like this would be where his bones are, his shoulder bone, and this would be his I don't know, what do you call this, radius here, or not radius, just my forearm bone, and then that's his elbow right here, and then the radius comes in like this, and actually I'm doing that wrong here. So shoulder bone here, the radius comes in here. I mean, not the radius, the forearm, and then you come down here, and then you're going to have the radius actually come up to here, and then it comes down to its basically hand, if there was an analogy, and then these are like the little tips of the fingers. And then on the back, it always has the hip bone here, and then the femur comes here, then it comes back, and then forward again. So this ends up being the knee up here. So this is the knee, this is the elbow, if that makes sense. Okay, so let's keep working with this guy. I like the inflate brush to enhance that. Sometimes I'll just have to turn off that sculptress brush so that I can do this the right way. I'm going to increase the resolution a little bit to maybe 40, so I'll have a little more geometry to work with. Inflate some of these things a little bit. I'm going to switch back to that. It's easier to see. Okay. Okay, let's see here. We're going to scale this up a little bit. So we're just getting the shape still. A giraffe, its body is actually a little fatter. Or not fatter, but the proportions are a little interesting. So like a really long neck. That goes up a little more than about 1 1/3 times as big as his body, I would say. Anyway, so we're just getting basic shapes here, and let's go into. I like drawing on just kind of the features as we're moving along too, just because it kind of helps me to get some proportions right. Throw in some muscles, maybe. Let's see here. stomach. Build in a little smoother shapes. Resolution's a little too high. Okay. Hips are a little wide, aren't they? Let's kind of put those down. And I like to keep that about 2, so it's manageable. Let's go. There we go. Okay, let's see what else we need to do here. As far as proportions, it's going to have to come up a little bit there. Let's work on the head a little bit, the neck shape. Shape of the head is going to be kind of interesting. Right. Constantly going to be looking at my reference so you know what a giraffe looks like. I always do these things orthographically, meaning if I were to do it in perspective, it kind of distorts both sides, so it's hard to see. That's just P, just in case you didn't know that. This is not a beginner course for new ZBrush artists, but you can see, again, you can see some of the tools that I'm using so that you can get a good idea. I just hit Control D for divide, just so I can start figuring this out. Okay, and some nostrils here, basically where they're going to be, just kind of place for where the head's going to be. We're going to bring these ears out. Let's go turn that on. I'm going to skip that note, turn that on. Let's just get the general. Okay, delete lower. There we go. Okay, turn that off again. I'm going to move this guy up here. Alright. And then, of course, these guys have these little horn things, right? Somewhere in there. Kind of look like alien antenna, right? Okay, turn sculptures off. Okay, the backslash key, if you look, is the sculptress mode, so I don't do a lot of shortcut keys. I do a few, but sometimes I forget about them. And so let's look at that mouth. Probably, I'm nearsighted, so I'm going to take off my glasses if I'm getting too close to the thing. Oops. Okay, so let's see here. Giraffes. Okay, again, I'm looking off screen at my reference, so I'm not doing this out of my head. I've not done a giraffe 1,000 times. In fact, I've only done a giraffe a few times, depending on projects I've had. But you know, when I first got started, the only real reference I had available to me at the time was National Geographic books. And so I would buy a ton of them, but it was right at the time when the internet was starting to come out, back in the late 90s, mid 90s, late 90s. And then I just had this pile of magazines I actually never ended up using for reference. Okay. And so with the internet as it is now, it's just an amazing resource that I never got to start with. And of course everybody's getting totally amazing at everything that they're doing. So, but sometimes I think that people don't think, I think it's really hard to sculpt, and I think it's one of the easier things to do. It's easier than drawing, in my opinion, because you can see if it's wrong from multiple angles. And okay, so now at those joints, the joints of a giraffe skeleton. Let me look at the picture again. They're going to have kind of a bulky little place here in the middle of it. So let me put that there. That's kind of where the, I guess this is the wrist, really. It's kind of what it is equivalent to. And then on the back side, it's going to be the ankle. So again, the knee is going to be here. So I'm just going to bulk that up. And the elbow is actually here, basically. Yeah, basically, if you want to call it that. This won't be a science model. This will just be a fun, basic model you could clean up and turn it into a game model or whatever, whatever you wanted to do. So these guys are going to come in a little bit closer. His legs. And then from the back side, a little closer on the hindquarters. And then I'm going to move these up. Okay, because they stand on their hooves, I always like to use this tool to just kind of flatten it and just kind of get back to flat. This is grounded. And hindquarters, the hips are going to come out a little bit like that. And then there's going to be a nice little spine on the back here where the hair is. So let's just do that real quick. Let's see here. I'm just going to save this before something happens crazy. Okay, let's see, it's saved. And you know, dam standard, you can use it for inward parts, and also, you know, if you hold it down for the outward parts. So kind of put a ridge there. Oops. Okay, do this a little bit here. That tail, we need to get that tail going on here, don't we? Okay, let's turn on Sculptress again. Let's see here, Sculptress, is it on? Alright. So let's see here, I'm gonna get that center point. Let's see. Inflating. And I like that inflate brush because then it helps me be able to really do that a little bit better. Get some volume. thin out your parts too much. And then my tail's probably going to hang here a little bit. Okay, I kind of like this resolution a little bit better, so I'm going to just kind of see what happens if I Dynamesh it. Let's do it a little higher now. Increase that, click that. Yeah, that's good for now. Still manageable. Also, I'm going to polish the features here. Sometimes just polishing overall. There's two ways to polish by feature. If you click that little button, one kind of shrinks the whole model, and the other one just kind of keeps the shape but does it. And then polish is kind of an in-between of that a little bit, so just kind of gets us our basic shapes. Anyway, you can see pretty quickly we're pretty much going to have a giraffe here soon. By the way, I'm going to paint this up, and so it'll actually have the textures of it. It's not just going to be a model. And hopefully it's going to go fast. Let's see here. So add a little clay building brush is good for just building up areas for muscle and strength. There you go. And again, I'm not a total anatomist. This is not going to be, like I said, a science model, but it'll get, 99% there, maybe, for a good start, and then you can tweak it. You can always tweak. You know what? The secret of all art is that the art is never done. It's never done. There's always more you can do, but if you can get the basics going, and then you get most of the way there, then the rest, it goes by quickly. Let's see here. That damn standard in there. What I like about the damn standard is almost like, it is almost like you're drawing, just drawing with that brush, kind of getting the places where it needs to go in, and then finalizing it. So let's move a few things. All right. Okay. All right, let's see. Put a little volume mass on these muscles. If you're having problems seeing an area you want to see, you can actually just hide it. Pretty simple. Oops. I'm holding down Shift Control Alt, and that just hides the object, so it's easier to see. I'm just going to work on the back legs for just a second. And let's see here. Just going to be moving around here, making sure it looks good. It's kind of that hourglass shape a little bit there to get that those nice curves. And that bottom little bulk thing. Okay. From the sides, what are we going to do for the sides here? That going. Just that pinch brush here to kind of get those pieces together a little bit. I like putting a little detail out and smoothing it back, and then a little more detail and smoothing it back. I can always get back to where we need to quickly. It just kind of gets the forms. Even though you lose the detail, you can put the detail back in a little bit faster. I'm going to inflate that area. So it's important on 3Ds you should look at every single angle that you're going around it and go around again and again and again. If you hold down shift to smooth, then you can also inflate back again and smooth and inflate and smooth. It's just really important to get those shapes really nice at the lower res model level, and just try to hit it from every angle. Otherwise it's just a little more difficult to fix it again. Fix it when it's heavy resolution, but it's fixable. I mean, ZBrush is like 3D photoshopped for me, just on the way it works. It's just so easy to mess with. All right, let's see where we're at here. Okay. It's coming together okay, I suppose. And just gonna inflate these areas a little bit here. Smooth them over. Okay, I'll also work on these front legs. I think the back legs look okay for right now. Yeah, we're getting there. Getting there pretty quick, aren't we? Relatively. Let's get the overall back shape though here first. I'm gonna just tweak that a little bit. Let's see here. See, I can never remember how to. There we go. Rotate that. Oops. There we go. That's what I want. Alright, here, let's see. Let's get this in here a little bit. Get a nice little look. Belly's going to poke out a little bit here. Let's see, let's work on that belly too. The belly's going to have a little roundness to the belly. So ZBrush working like this, you definitely need a Wacom tablet, or if you're drawing on the screen, same difference, right? So it can be a little awkward at times, but it's pretty good. I'm just going to polish this off with this brush here, see what happens. So we're getting there. Okay, like I mentioned before, let's work on these legs here. Let's go from the front. Make sure it's looking good. Alright, here, oops. Legs looking right. Again, this part I'm working on right now is the wrist. And let's get that inflate tool for this part, which is one of the fingers, I guess. That's how that would work. And from this side, so from this angle it looks okay. These need to come in a little bit. This needs to come in. Smooth that. And move this down here, so this needs to come. Okay, the sculpt here. Skiwampus is a term we use here in Utah. Cattywampus, I heard, is the other term people use. So, okay. So yeah, getting that shape just really makes that so much nicer from all angles. And you got to keep looking from all the angles, because if you don't, you'll get those real weird shapes. Now, the skinnier parts of a giraffe is kind of tricky at the bottom. It's just subtle, I guess, more than anything. Let me add some. I'm just going to add some geometry to this, so I have a little more to work with. Let's go to this tool and just add a little more. Alright. The way I added it, I just got close to it and used the sculptress tool, just in case you didn't catch that. And let's see here. Inflating, adding the clay brush to this. Sometimes when you're using the clay brush, it's important that there's this back face mask that you can turn on, that it doesn't affect the other side. That's very helpful sometimes. It's a little tool tip. Okay. Let's see here. Where are we at with this? Okay. So, let's see here. Yeah, right. Let's get this bottom part figured out. This is probably the most complex part of the whole thing for some reason, is getting these little legs right. Because it's subtle. It's very subtle. And it's going to be tapered. I mean, their legs are so bony looking. It's kind of silly looking. And we'll have to fix the proportions again here shortly, but I just want to, again, get these things dialed in a little bit better and figured out. Okay, so alright, so the hooves, let's do the hooves next. Hooves are going to come in like this. I haven't studied hoofs enough to know that they're going to be different on other animals, but there's going to be hoofed animals are going to have a similar dealio. Oops. I like to just draw the shapes I'm looking to get, so hoof is going to come down to like there, around here, and then up there, right? And then it's going to have that center portion. You can just use the pinch brush to kind of work with it, right? And then my little tool here that I like to do to sharpen up that base. And I'm going to raise this resolution to 512 for now. So we're working at about 170,000 polygons. So let's do this for the back part as well. Oops. Again, it's going to come in through here. Let's see. Going to move this back. Kind of draw where the hooves are supposed to be, roughly, with this damn standard brush. I'm not saying when I say damn standard, it's just the name of it, I suppose. Okay, so it's going to be kind of there. Okay. It's going to be a little messy. It's okay, I'm just getting the general shapes so that I can mess with the shapes a little more. And one of the shapes I want to mess with is the actual hoof shapes themselves. So I'm just going to move this around. Hopefully that's going to work. Okay, and then this needs to really be worked on here a little bit. Now for some reason this has gotten a little bit off of alignment. I'm not sure why. So I'm just going to go ahead and mirror these. Oh, look at this. Looks like something happened to that too. Put that up again. Okay, so we're getting pretty close. We're getting this at almost to a point where we can really start pushing it forward. Get this part here. It's going to be important. It's a little bony protrusion there. And let's widen this tail and shorten it here. Now here's a trick where you're trying to remirror everything. I kind of like this side more than I like that side as far as the leg. Looks like this got more developed. But if I use mirror and weld, it will actually take that one on that side to do it. So the way I get around that is in the deformation channel, you can just mirror on the X so it does flip that over, and then we'll hit the mirror and weld. And then we're symmetrical again, if that makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to polish my features a few more times. I'll watch out for my little antennae, which are crazy. And okay, I'll work on those for a minute. In fact, let's just finish up the head. I think that's what I'll probably do. Okay, so flatten that area. There is a point when I will stop dynameshing here soon, because I'll have enough geometry to work with. I don't know if that point is now, but let's go ahead and start drawing our head in. Oops. kind of drawing shapes. Where's that eye going to be? Basically like that. And, you know, just kind of drawing basic structures. Somehow I've got mask on this brush set, so I'm just going to go here and go to my preferences and then reload my restored custom. Yeah, there. Get it back to where it is. Sometimes if you push the wrong buttons and need to restart, that's okay. Let's get them here. I'm referring to my reference a lot just so that we can get it accurate. An artist is only as good as his reference. So, you know, if you don't have much reference, you're just going to do whatever. These eyeball sockets are pretty crazy on a giraffe. Oops. In fact, I really, really, really love working with an eyeball. In there, and then I'll work the shapes around that. So for right now, I'm just going to do this. Let's see here. Getting there. Okay. I want to try and get this done in, you know, within about an hour's time. I mean, again, that will prevent me from really having to go into, you know, all the extraordinary detail, but it will definitely give us enough to get a good idea on how to make these, and then you can take it to the final on your own. Okay, so let's get that neck a little bit. Okay, are we pretty much done with this? Let's see here. Get some more jaw structure in there. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. I can move this a little bit, maybe. Kind of an interesting shape. See where the skull is, so I'll skip out a little bit of that flesh underneath. So it looks like a little more shallowy. All right, a little more shallow, I mean. All right, and then it's gonna have this. He's gonna have a nice jaw under there. So right now it's not. It looks kind of like a giraffe, but these little subtle changes. If you want to really look, they'll have a nice little jaw underneath. All right. Huh. Except it's gonna be in the middle too. All right. And that's a little bit too much. So I'm gonna just take it in there like that. Those weird looking lips. Little camel. It's very camel-like, isn't it? Look at a camel. Alright. Guess it's not so much like that down on the bottom here. Maybe it's more like this. Alright. Now let's get those ears right. Kind of come up like that. It's antlers. Alright. Alright, we're about 45 minutes into this, so hopefully we can keep going fast. Get this done. So let's kind of work it over. Let's see, what was that? Probably build up brush. Scooping out a little bit of this material just to kind of find the neck a little bit. High polish brush can work really nice to smooth out areas like that when you're done with the high polygonal object. All right. I'm going to go ahead and configure this back to restore custom. All right. Okay, so let's get them. They have a little mane on the back here, so let's put that little mane on here. And goes all the way down to here, maybe. You know, a better way that I should have done this is probably, and I'll just do it now here. I'm just gonna mask this off. And then just gonna pull that out a little bit. All right. And I can just move a few things out. Okay, oops, I've got the perspective on. Still working pretty well. All right. Okay, we're gonna put some wrinkles in here. Just kind of lines. Let's see here. There's actually some kind of nice wrinkle brushes, but I find that I don't necessarily need to use them unless I want to. Seems to work pretty okay. I mean, there's other techniques I'm sure people can do. All right. Some muscles to the hindquarters a little bit. All right, let's see here. Move this. I'm going to move this a little higher. And overall, it's coming together, I think. Let's see. You know, it might do well to just make his head a little bit larger or longer. I don't know. Just a little bit, maybe. Okay, I lost all that detail on the hoofs, didn't I? Let's get those back again. And I think I am done subdividing it. So, or not subdividing, but diameter. So I'm going to turn Dynamesh off for now. I can always use it later if I want to get a little bit more detail. And then I'm going to use the dam standard to get those hoofs back. So I'm just, this time I'm gonna run an outside line to more of a thickness line around it to the back, taper it up, and then looks okay. And then I'm gonna stick a line in right there. Put it in. There is a slight taper towards the, like from, you know, it's not directly in the center, it's slightly tapered to the outside edges, kind of how we stand. Helps them stand a little bit better, it looks like, or balance. Okay, and then from here I will put a little ridge of fur and fluff where it would come down to. Okay, that's good for the front one. Now if I want to add a little more detail in it, you can always use the pinch brush to kind of pinch those sides together. Okay, and let's do the same for this back. So I'm going to hide that one. Go here. Alright, let's get that going here. Say the same thing, we're gonna put that little ridge on there. And it's gonna be an outie instead of an innie ridge. And I hope I'm articulate enough to talk about this because I'm kind of focusing on the actual sculpting part. Hope this is making sense. I am teaching by example, hopefully. You can see it's just a matter of concentrating and just getting the shapes right. Actually, making that ridge really helped to figure out that shape. There's gonna be some touch-ups and stuff that you'll want to do beyond what I'm doing here, for sure. But again, if you're like 80-90% done to get there, you can take it the rest of the way. As I get a few of these things done, maybe we'll do a live session or two one day. Alright. Just kind of adding to this a little bit. It's kind of a quick and dirty sketching thing, I would say, wouldn't you? Okay, looks like we got that messed up a little bit when we did that. Not sure how that happened, but I'm sure you guys may have seen me do it. But we'll wanna very quickly get those shapes back. All right, here we go. If you leave those shapes as is, it'll look broken. You don't want that. All right. All right, in general, I think we're pretty close anyway. Pretty close. Let's add a little bit of volume to this tail. And then I'm going to go ahead and insert an eyeball to this, just because I love oops, that's the wrong one. Let's put this guy in here. And let's see, I'm going to fill this object with so this one I'm just going to change the material to be just a black guy, a black chrome eyeball, and fill that guy in there. Might look a little weird for a minute. Let's scale him. Yeah, should be good enough. See how he looks in the context. It's got to be a really big eye in real life. Alright, I'm going to put him right about there. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and mirror and weld that. And then work on this layer. The reason I do that is that I can really get that round shape to work, so it looks like a real eye. It's more realistic. Oops, let's turn that off. May need a little more geometry in there. Let's see. We'll see here in a second. Maybe we can get away with it. Not 100% sure, but it looks like it's working. So just keep going that way. Well, seemed to work out pretty good, I guess. The eyelid in there. Alright, where are we at? Oh, we're past the hour mark, so let's hurry up and get this thing colored. Okay. Okay. Move that guy. The eyes are the windows to the soul, and it seems true on all my 3D character creations. I usually like doing the eyes first, and then building from there, just because it feels more alive from the get-go. I kind of did this afterwards because, I don't know, this is the first video. I'm just trying to get it out there. Anything you want to create takes a while, so I'm just trying to get things moving. Seeing what sticks. I'm actually not convinced that I haven't done this already before. Exactly what I'm doing right now with a giraffe. Maybe not one quite this detailed. I don't know. Maybe. All right. Okay, so there's a good basic giraffe shape going on there, right? So let's color it up and make it look like a real giraffe for the time being. Let's move this button down here a bit. What do you think, Leah? How it's coming?
Cool.
Cool. All right. Okay, so to color this bad boy, I'm just gonna go ahead and duplicate it one more time, or divide it. And then I'm gonna pick the skin shader, skin shade 4, yeah, it works. And then I'm gonna take this, and I like the standard brush to do this part because I don't usually use that. MRGB for materials and color. And then I'm going to just set in with a nice tan color, and then I'm just going to go ahead and fill that all for that right there. And then at this point, I guess I'll just do some shading a little bit. So let's get a little orange values here, and we're gonna hand paint this with a little bit of shading on there. Maybe not that light. Okay. And shade that up there. A little bit of shading there. Get a nice little coloration going on. You know, so it's pretty much real-time stuff, so you can see how quickly you can get to an animal of this sort. Okay, we're gonna shade that a little bit. Shade those ears a little bit. Okay, cool. Now, for this part, I'm just going to go ahead and mask some areas. If you do it like this, I guess this will work pretty good, right? If it's symmetrical, it'll do it on both sides. So we'll want to be let's see here. Okay. Let's continue on here. I'm just going to mask these shapes. They can be pretty much anything you want to. I mean, I'm going to just kind of mask whatever. There's always a little space in between them, and there's usually a soft masking that this has, and then as these shapes get down in the belly, they go a little bit smaller, I guess. Should work just fine. Guess just get through patient and just doing a lot of these. Now this, I'm just masking the colors on this, and I'll do something different from the top, because once it's beyond the symmetrical angle, oops, might need to do something different. All right. So just masking as we go here. Takes a little bit of patience, I guess, to get there. Kind of want to get done fast, right? I do. Now they say that giraffes, all of them have distinct patterns so that they can tell each other apart. But they do a pretty good job of camouflaging. And I found out that giraffes are the tallest land animal there is. Terrestrial-based walking animal. So, imagine that. Nothing taller. Alright, let's see here. And then for this side, I'm going to unmask that for a minute. So we don't have, so I want to do something a little bit different there. I'm going to turn my X off, get a little asymmetry going on. Let's see here, and then from here. Now, masking always kind of goes through the whole thing, so you have to unmask the parts you don't want, so I'll have to go through here and unmask those so it doesn't get on the bottom. And then let's finish this part here. There we go. And we'll do a few little guys up here. Alright. And let's see how far down we want to go on this part here. Maybe down here, maybe. It's probably pretty good. I'm going to mask this off too because I'm going to be painting that. And maybe some freckles and zebra stripes there. Alright. Okay, let's just start with that, and then I can sharpen these masks a little bit. There we go. And then I'm going to invert it, and I'm going to pick this darker brown color, kind of a reddish brown. And you can either paint on or just, yeah, let's just paint it on here. Yeah, I like that's maybe a little bit too brownish. A little more orangish brown. Huh. I suppose if I wanted to say that into a shape layer I could, which I just did. It looks a little harsh. Let me just undo that. I'm going to leave it soft. And then make it a little lighter. Let's try that. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. You get some areas where maybe I need to have a little more space in between. Okay, and then let's get a little more here. Okay. Okay, so for here, let's get this darker part of the giraffe colors. Let's finish that up. And then let's see, the host probably need a little bit more dark colors. And then we didn't get to do the face, so let's do the face next. Oh, let's do this part here first. Didn't really make any groups, shading groups or anything here. We're just kind of doing it quick and dirty so that we can kind of get to where we want to go. Okay. And just kind of want to mask this off a little bit so that I can just kind of paint. There he is, real quick. There we go. And tops of these are going to be kind of darker. And then let's go ahead and paint some facial things on there. Actually, and I like this mask better. Gets there quicker. Get some cool stuff going on in here. Right, and then okay, so that should be good for that, and then I can just paint that. And we'll have a nice painted giraffe. And you can just add a little more color to it here and there. And let's see what else we want to do. Oh yeah, the giraffe's neck actually does have it covered, so let's gotta finish that up. But I'll just do that by hand. I'm going to try and let's do it this way. It's hard to get a nice sharp brush in here, so I'm just going to do it this way. Mask pretty sharply with the giraffes, or with the masking tool by, I'll show you in just a second what you can do. Yeah, and then the interior parts here are gonna be something we need to get done too. It's gonna take a minute to get this all organized. We'll have fun with it, I guess. Okay, I'm just sharpening that a little bit by, oops, soften and sharpen mask layers. Oops. Alright. Alright, let's try that. And then I'm going to take that thing, go like this, and just do it like that. Alright. There's our giraffe. Now I'm going to mask by cavity here too, just add a little bit of drama here. Drama to my llama. I'm going to hide that so it'll Let's see, I'm going to reverse that. Okay. Okay, and then hide it. And let's get a little deeper yellows, browns. Just last. Just last. Just get some texture there. All right, well, and then I think that's pretty much our giraffe. If you wanted to render it, I suppose you could just do the turntable. Let's just do a turntable so you can see what he looks like. Oh. Okay, he's off-centered, so let's just center him. The way we could do that is just go over here to the geometry, position, and I'm just going to put him into the Z1 position, and his eyes are not going to go with him, so let's do it this way. Let's see here, home position. Gonna move him over here, and okay, now if we turntable him, what is he gonna look like? There we go. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed this, making a giraffe. That's basically the essentials of it, and I think he looks pretty much done. The only other things I'd do is just kind of touch up a few little things, like his, just the painting or whatever, so just add a little bit of flavor to him. You can select something by hitting C as you're doing it, and messing around with it. So hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time, hopefully, and we'll just do a bunch of these so that we can archive this, and you can see how I just use these tools very quickly to get kind of what we want done quickly, and to see how it works. So thank you guys. See you later.